Hello everyone, my name is Pacha and welcome to the very first episode of our brand new zoo project, Tiergarten Edelwald. A very classical zoo set in a European country with very classical architecture, as you can see here. But before we build an entire zoo, we have to start with a first animal. And in this episode, we're gonna build for maybe one of the smallest inhabitants of this new zoo, and that will be the Kirks Dik Dik. So strap in, folks, we have a lot to talk about and a lot to show you, and I can promise you it will be amazing. Okay guys, here we are now in the speed build part, and as you can see, here we have the new logo of the zoo, Tiergarten Edelwald. And before we start talking about what the plan for the zoo will be and what we want to do, I have to give a big thanks to my best friend Sparrow, who designed that amazing new logo for the zoo. If you don't know Sparrow, then what are you even doing? And if you know her, you know she's an amazing creator on YouTube for Planet Zoo. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed to her, the link to her channel is in the video description. So if you haven't, quickly pause this video, go over there, subscribe to her channel, because she does amazing content. She's an amazing person, super friendly. And I have to say, I have to thank her so much for designing this logo in a very short time. I actually messaged her yesterday when I'm recording this yesterday, and in the evening of the same day she already came up with this amazing logo for our new zoo. But speaking of our new zoo, what does Tiergarten Edelwald actually means? Of course, it's a German name, and that already should give you a clue that we are here in a German-speaking country. But I don't want to specify which country. It could be Austria, it could be the Switzerland, it could be Germany. I don't want to really nail it down which of these countries it is. All it says, it is a very old zoo in a very European, a very German-speaking country, and the name Tiergarten Edelwald means roughly alongside something like animal garden, noble forest. So a very noble, esteemed, old classical zoo this will be. And the name actually was chosen by my community over on Discord. So if you haven't joined my Discord and you want, also the link is in the description. They had a lot of different options to choose from, different names. Also some they sent in as a name for this new zoo, and Tiergarten Edelwald was the one that won in the end. And next point we want to talk about before we talk about actually building, you're probably wondering why we are not building the huge pavilion that we saw in the beginning of the intro cinematic. This actually was, I already built that one, and I didn't record the building of that one because it took me multiple weeks, several days among multiple weeks to build this one. And the video for that one would have been extremely long, so I'm very sorry if you have hoped to see the construction of this building. But don't click away just because you will not see that. We will still build something very cool this episode, as I already teased kinda. We are building for the Kirks Dik Dik, one of the new animals from the Zookeeper's animal pack. And what we do right now is not building for the Kirks Dik Dik, go figure. We are gonna build a different backstage actually that has nothing to do with the habitat of the Kirks Dik Dik, apart from the point that it is sitting right inside of it. And this will be one of the backstages for our future species, future African species, that much I can tell you. This will be one of their backstages, and this will also be a blueprint for multiple other backstages that are located all around the central pavilion that sits in the middle. Don't worry, you will get a full tour of everything at the end of this video, so if you want to just see the tour, timestamps as always are in the description. But as I also talk about the project here in a moment, I highly encourage you to stay and to listen to what this zoo will be about. As some of you might already seen, and if you are, if you're known with, or if you have knowledge of European zoos, you might recognize these buildings. You might recognize the pavilion in the beginning, and this is no coincidence, because this building, the whole zoo actually, and the central pavilion are inspired, heavily inspired by the Schönbrunn Zoo or Vienna Zoo in Vienna, Austria. The zoo that it belongs to Schönbrunn Palace, the palace of Empress Sissi and Emperor Franz from Austria. You might know them, and it's a very classic zoo. One of the, I think, the oldest zoo in the world that is still operating, founded somewhere in the 1800s. I don't have the exact date at hand by now, at the moment, but it is the oldest zoo in the world that is still in operation. And I had visited that zoo, as you probably already know, earlier this year in the summer, and I was so impressed by the whole zoo, by how they mix classical architecture, classical buildings and zoo styling with modern animal-friendly designs and enclosure designs basically, and conservation-friendly efforts that I wanted to recreate. That not recreate it, that's I think the wrong word. This will not be a recreation of Schönbrunn Zoo, otherwise I would just have called the series Schönbrunn Zoo. Now this will be just a heavy inspiration, I would say. We will still do our own things, we will mix and match different ideas from different European zoos. Yes, after Raven Creek we are now going to Europe with our zoo design. We will mix different ideas from different zoos, maybe from Leipzig Zoo, maybe Rostock Zoo, maybe Praha Zoo, whatever I can find that fits what I want to build. But the core aspect or the core design choice, the core idea of this will be from Schönbrunn Tierpark Schönbrunn, whatever you want to say it. And this includes the central plaza with the Emperor's Pavilion. That's the name of the building in the middle, the Emperor's Pavilion, which started just as a breakfast pavilion for the Emperor and his family, and nowadays is a restaurant. And by the way, just because I'm seeing it here, the new string pieces that came with update 1.18 are such an amazing piece, and they are so versatile. And here I'm using them basically as these dividers in a window. I don't know if there is a word for that, these smaller divider sections in a window. And they also work as hot grass, they work as electrical wiring, as piano wires. There are so many uses for these new very thin pieces, so I'm super glad to have that. As I just was talking about, this will be a very classical zoo. Not meaning that we will recreate a very classical, not animal-friendly zoo. We will do still a modern zoo, but that keeps the classical roots. As you maybe have seen in what it says on the new logo for the zoo, this zoo was founded around 1750, so over 200 years ago, similar to Tierpark Schönbrunn. So it's a very, very old zoo. That means a lot of very, very old buildings, and this also means a lot of challenges to make these buildings and habitats friendly and animal safe, animal friendly basically, for modern holding standards basically. And this also means we have to work around these classical buildings and make sure the animals still have enough room, they have enough space, we don't overcrowd them, that they feel safe and have enough room to escape the visitors, for example. And that we will start today with the Kirks Dik Dik, one of the new animals from the Zookeeper's Animal Pack, our most likely last DLC, and one that is at the moment bugged. Yes, the Kirks Dik Dik is bugged because the hitbox of the Kirks Dik Dik is the one of the spectacle bear, or at least of the bear species. It is at least 2 to 3 times bigger than the animal itself, which, as you can guess, creates problems when you want to design something for one of the smallest ungulates, my god, I can't talk, of the game, and even also one of the smallest animals in the game, when it has the hitbox of a bear species. And I already made an issue tracker, or I made an issue poll over at Frontier Forums. I already messaged them about this issue, and as it seems right now, they are looking into it. So there are good chances that with the next big update, or with the next update, not big update, but update, this will be fixed and the Kirks Dik Dik's hitbox will be made smaller. So fingers crossed. At the moment it kind of works in the setup that I have, in the habitat that I have. But yeah, it could be better. It doesn't really have a lot of space to walk around, but it should be. And you will see that later in the real-time part how it looks. And speaking of, when you're just talking about making the habitats more animal friendly, making them fitting for the modern times and modern holding standards, and actually the habitat that the Kirks Dik Dik was holed in, or that the Kirks Dik Dik is now in, was a former cassowary habitat, where back in the day, back when the emperor was still ruling, they had cassowaries in there. And now, since they gave up on cassowaries because the space was too small, they didn't have enough space to hold the cassowaries in a modern standard, they now have the Kirks Dik Dik, which is of course a much smaller animal and has much more space in there. And as I said, this building, also this backstage that we are building at the moment here, which has nothing to do with the Dik Dik, but is set inside the habitat of the Dik Dik. Yeah, it sits inside the habitat of the Dik Dik. It is the same that is in real life there. They also have Kirks Dik Dik in Schönbrunn Zoo in that place, and I have no idea how keepers access this building. From what I've seen, there is not really a way to get into this building, because you would have to go through the habitat of this animal to get into this building. That of course is the building for a different habitat. So maybe someone who is from Vienna, who was recently at Schönbrunn Castle, who has seen that, can explain me how they access this building. I will come up with a solution. I already thought about a solution for that, how to access this, how to make this accessible by sacrificing a different exhibit that I don't plan to build anyways. But yeah, it is very weird that there's a whole building inside the exhibit with no connection to the outside world. But anyway, this of course will not be the backstage of this animal. We will build the backstage in a moment after we finish this, and then we will also build the habitat itself. And yeah, what are the plans in general for this zoo, for Tiergarten Edelwald? Is definitely, we will first of course focus on the central plaza, meaning all the habitats around the central pavilion that is in the background. I will explain what all these plaster pieces there mean when we get to the real-time part. But also something I want to do, and something that will be different from my previous post DLC videos, is that I will not spend the next weeks only building for the new DLC animals. I will definitely have a focus on them, so I will definitely see them more often, or see them more often than the other animals. But with this series here, this new series, I wanna also, don't wanna be pressured by just having to build for the new DLC animals. Not jumping all over the place to make them fit into the zoo. No, I want to build for what I want to build at the moment, for what I feel is right and what I'm feeling inspired to. By the way, we are now building the backstage for the Dik Dik here, the actual backstage, and this means that next week, most likely, definitely next week, we will not build for a DLC animal, or not for a zookeeper's DLC animal. We will build for one of the animals that is already in the game. And then the week after that, I don't know yet. I haven't made a plan for what comes after that week, but next week definitely not one of the new DLC animals, but a different animal that we already have in game, but that you haven't seen maybe on this channel already. And this is another point. There will be recurring, or will be recurring animals in this series. Animals I already have built for in the past, be it Wahad Jamila, be it Isle of the Wild. Most likely not entirely Raven Creek, because I don't want to focus on American animals in this series. But there will be animals in here that you already have seen on this channel, but in a new enclosure, with a new design, with a new idea. So it's definitely worth watching still, even if you have already seen the animal here. But if I only would focus myself on animals that I have never built for, I would limit myself quite a lot to animals or to a selection of animals that I maybe don't want to build for, but I have to build for them because otherwise I would have to build for animals that I already have made an enclosure for in the past. So I decided to also make new stuff for already known animals on the channel, and I hope that's okay for you guys. And maybe it's also a cool idea because you get a different style of habitats with the zoo. And speaking of style of habitats, we are jumping here from point to point today. It's a lot to talk about. This zoo, of course, will not also include all classical architecture buildings, only classical buildings like these for the habitats. There will also be some modern habitats. I already have a really cool idea for the Markor and again the Tarkin and the Palace Cat. I already have a very cool idea for them, what I want to build for them, some more modern ideas, and some for other animals. So there will not only be classical architecture in here for you to see, but this will be the main focus. Of course, this is the central point of the zoo, the oldest part of the zoo, this plaza here. So this, of course, incorporates more classical architecture. If you already have any some ideas or wishes or something like that of animals you maybe want to see in the future, or some buildings you can suggest me that would be fitting for this place, feel free to post them in the comments. Feel free to join our Discord if you haven't already and post them there. I'm open for ideas. I definitely will take a lot of inspiration from different zoos in the world, not in the world most like, but from Europe, and and also animals. I can't promise that if you suggest an animal that I will definitely build for them. I still want to do what I haven't planned, but maybe you're lucky and one of your animals that you wish for will be one of the animals I want to build for in the future. But definitely keep suggesting animals, and maybe that means that your wished animal will be earlier in this construction. And of course, another question that maybe some ask, this will not because of this zoo, we will not stop building in Raven Creek. But you already have, if you follow this channel, you maybe know that with Raven Creek, there's a little of a problem at the moment that the FPS are dropping lower and lower, and building in Raven Creek is a little bit harder, and I have to change around things. I have to change the ideas I had for this place and make it smaller than I intended. So I definitely will keep building in Raven Creek, but at the moment it's bit of on a hiatus until I have a bit of inspiration again. But definitely Raven Creek is not forgotten. It will not be unfinished. It will be finished in time. But at the moment, I just want to focus on something new. I want to do a new project here. Want to feel the inspiration again, the fun in building, and not being focused on just getting this zoo done. I want to do something else. I hope you can understand that. Definitely would be nice if you can accept that, and if not, it is still my channel, sorry. But anyway, we are now focusing on the actual habitat, and we will build very classic barriers over here that we will intercept with some glass parts, so the visitors can look more easily into the habitat of these very small ungulates, which are looking super cool. And if they fix the problem with the hitbox, then it definitely will make the Dik Dik 10 times better. But yeah, we already saw that some of the habitats have cloths around over them. This is to basically don't expose the Dik Dik too much and give them a little bit of privacy, especially with the animals that will be behind this habitat, because they could, frighten the Dik Dik, stuff like that. And we will also do a lot of heavy foliage in this habitat to give the Dik Dik some security, because they are very shy antelope. They are very shy and seclusive antelope, so we need to make sure that they don't feel frightened. But anyway, I will leave you now to the rest of the speed build with some nice music, and then I will see you in the real-time part where I have a lot to show you. We'll see the whole exhibit, of course, of the Dik Dik, but I will also show you the Emperor's Pavilion in the middle, so you know everything that is at the moment in this new park. And I'm really happy to see how Tiergarten Edelwald develops in the future, and I hope you are excited as I am. And so now rest of the speed build, and then I see you in the real-time part. Alright, here we are now in the real-time part of our new zoo, and I already see something I have to fix. But anyway, we gonna start here in front of the Dik Dik habitat, and you can already see we will also, as I said, look into the pavilion. Before we look at the habitat, I also have to show that I did a little bit of a backstage here. I didn't show it in the speed build, just because you already know by this point how I build backstages, and if I only, I will only show no new backstages now if it's something new, if it's something special. But yeah, this is just a very simple backstage with 2 cages, multiple doors to access. I didn't even put in some decorations here, so this definitely just, you have to have a backstage, but I will probably build some more and decorate it some more in the future. But anyway, let's start with the exhibit of the Kirks Dik Dik. There they are. This is the female. I don't know where the male is, probably somewhere behind there. And yeah, really like it. It feels very cozy and small, a little bit, yeah, like thrown into the middle of two buildings. Like we need to have an exhibit here. Just fence in a bit of the area, put in some plants, and just throw in the animal. I think that feels like it. But what I really like is this viewpoint over here, where you can see the pavilion in the background. I think that gives a really cool viewing experience. So you know, okay, there is something in the background there. I want to check it out. So let's find out how I get to this point. And as already said, there we have our different backstage, the other backstage, sitting just in the middle of this habitat. And no way to exit it, at least from the front here with the big doors. But I think I will build an exit to the side area over here, so that keepers can actually get into that area and also, yeah, bring in supplies and stuff like that. But yeah, in general, I really like how it feels. It feels classic. It feels not over the top designed. It feels just right for such a small animal. Seeing them running around. And yeah, you get a really good look onto them from here. They look really adorable. I really like how Frontier made them model. They look really cool. Anyway, this is our little habitat. Let's go to the pavilion, and I will just jump over there so you don't have to walk that long. Alright, and here we are already in front of the pavilion, but not the front part. I want to go to the front of the pavilion, the one that the sun hits just right. And you can see already placed some trees here. We did place these trees during the live stream, so if you want to see me doing small new stuff in the zoo, definitely join our live streams every Friday. There we build all the railings and the trees and stuff like that. And yeah, here we have the entrance, and whoever can figure out what this date means over here on the top gets a shout out in next week's episode, if I don't forget it. But yeah, whoever is first in figuring that out gets a shout out in next week's episode. But anyway, this is our little, our Empress Pavilion, which is an exact copy or exact replica of the Empress Pavilion in Schönbrunn Zoo, at least from the outside. All the dimensions are the same, or how wide the paths are, how high the walls are, and stuff like that. I made some changes to some of the designs due to the pieces that we have in Planet Zoo, and I changed the interior area of this building just to make it more my style, basically. Anyway, this is our new breakfast, coffee, lunch area, or a little restaurant where people can go enjoy a meal and look at the animals, because all these blue lines that you see here, all these blue plaster lines that you see around also on this side will become habitats in the future. So there will be a lot of animals around here, so wherever you sit in this area, in this pavilion, you will see some animals. Let's go inside. We also have, of course, an access area to the cellar over here, which actually, I don't know if we can get in there, is the access point to the keeper areas, to the keeper huts, break rooms, stuff like that. I think we don't kind get inside, but there is a path going down there which leads to all the in-game buildings that you need to make your stuff function, basically. Let's go up here and let's enter the pavilion, which is, I think, looks really, really cool. And this is our pavilion. I already don't want to spoil the ceiling too much. We have a lot of tables here. Of course, everything is custom made by me. And we have, of course, a bar over here where you can serve stuff. And we have a picture of our Empress, Bernie the First. Actually, it's a picture of Empress Susie of Vienna, of Austria, but I changed the face out with Bernie's face, of course, from the Planet Zoo campaign. And let's now look at the ceiling, and yeah, I have to say, I'm really, really happy how I built it. And there's a lot of pieces here. I think over 10,000 pieces in the whole building, and now you know why I didn't make the video about it, because it would have taken ages. We have all the, what are they called? celestial signs over here, the zodiac signs around here, all of them with their names. I think I'm jumping on tables here. We have all the names over here, like Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Leo, and their accompanying signs on the ceiling together with the sun and moon holding up the chandelier. And yeah, I'm super happy how this turned out. It feels classical, it feels old, but also it feels still functioning. Of course, it isn't functioning in the game because there are no the real or the in-game tables for the restaurants wouldn't fit in here, or at least only 2 or 3 would fit in here, then it would be full. So I made my own tables to make it look more functional. We can of course go outside again here, and if we sit here on this, we can already see the Dik Dik habitat in the background. Then of course there will be another habitat in front of that. But yeah, this is so far everything that is to see in Tiergarten Edelwald, and yeah, I'm super excited where this journey will take us, what we will do in the coming weeks and months. I'm definitely super excited to build in this new zoo with this very different premise than Raven Creek, while Raven Creek was very modern and very American. This one is very European, classical, something I haven't built yet. It's a city zoo without a city yet, so there will definitely at some point will be a city in the background if I get to that. But yeah, there's still a lot to come, a lot to do, and I'm super happy to see where the future will take us with this zoo. So, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Tiergarten Edelwald. If you do, maybe consider subscribing or liking the video, and then I hope I see you in the next episode next week, and that until then you stay safe, have a great time, and bye bye everyone.